Hello everyone. So today we are going to learn about momentum. So let's start learning about momentum. So there are some common observation like a fast bowler takes a run up before bowling and a player moves his racket in the backward direction before hitting the tennis ball. Similarly, a batsman move his bat backward before hitting the cricket ball. But why they do so, and what if they do not do that? So what will how it will affect, and so let's find out the answer of these questions. So all of them are applying force on the ball, right? In order to make the ball move faster. So these activities are resulting in a greater force which make ball to move with a greater speed. So these activities are providing momentum to the ball. So momentum is nothing but the amount of motion contained in the body, like amount of motion contained in the ball. It is denoted by the letter P. So there is one more question. In which case do you think will ball move a greater distance and why? So we can see that there is a father and a child. So when the father throws the cricket ball, it cover a greater distance as compared to the distance covered when the child throws it. Okay, that is very clear that when father throws it, it will cover a greater distance. But why? Because the cricket ball has greater speed when thrown by the father as compared to in the case when it is thrown by a child. So cricket ball thrown by father. Why so? If the speed of the ball is greater, that means the momentum of the ball thrown by father has the greater momentum than the child. So in if the speed is greater, then momentum will also be the greater of the ball. Why? Because we know that momentum is nothing but the motion contained in an object. So we can say that momentum is directly proportional to speed. If speed is greater, the momentum will also be. If it is less, then momentum will also be less. So because momentum depends on motion, like motion contained in an object, and speed is also talking about the motion. Okay. So now there is one more question, like which one would you choose to break the toughened glass door, a large stone or a small marble? Now, if you want to break this glass, which one would you choose? What do you think? Think about it. So, uh, we'll choose the stone. Why? Because it has greater mass, and the marble has less mass. So we will be choosing stone over the over the marble. So why? Because the momentum of stone is greater than that of marble. Like if the and mass of stone is greater, means mass of momentum would also be greater. So we can say that momentum also depends on the mass, because if it has more mass, it has more momentum, so it will easily break the glass. Okay. So, as till now we have discussed that momentum depends on mass, momentum depends on velocity or speed. So, from here we can say that momentum is equals to m times v. So we know that mass unit is SI unit is kg and velocity SI unit is meter per second. So SI unit for momentum is kilogram meter per second. Okay. Now is the momentum vector quantity or a scalar? So you may know that vector quantity are those who have the vector quantities are those who have the direction as well as the magnitude. On the other hand, So on the other hand, scalar quantities are those who have just magnitude but has no direction. So in case of momentum, momentum is a vector quantity. Why? Because it has a direction as well as it has a magnitude or a value. Because in the formula of momentum it contain velocity, and we know that velocity talks about direction as well. So since velocity is a vector quantity, so momentum is also a vector quantity. And we can see that when we were like, if we are throwing a ball and it has some momentum, so we are throwing it in a particular direction. For example, in the example of breaking the glass, so let's say this is a glass door and this is a stone. So if we want to break it, we'll have to throw glass in a particular direction. So obviously momentum is talking about the direction as well as the magnitude. So that's why it is a vector quantity. Okay, and its direction is along the direction of the velocity. Now question is, can we break the glass door using the marble, this small marble? Now we know that momentum depends on two things, that is its mass and velocity. Now in, if we want to break it using marble, so its mass of the marble is fixed, this is fixed, but we can change its velocity. Now, answer is yes, we can break this glass door, but we'll have to increase its velocity. Whose velocity? The marble velocity, so that its momentum got increased too, because momentum depends on velocity. If we'll increase the velocity, the momentum will automatically increase. So that's how we can break this glass door using marble. But what are the ways to increase its velocity? We can use the slingshot, right, to increase its speed. And when so by increasing its speed, its momentum would increase too, and it can break it. Okay, so this is how. Now what is the momentum of a body that is at rest? So let's say this tree is at rest, so it has no velocity. Rest means no velocity, and we know that momentum is mass times velocity. So it has some mass, so let's say it has mass m. Since it is at rest, it has no velocity, so velocity is 0, and anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So a body that is at rest has no momentum at all. Okay, now, so there is a question, that is, an athlete weighing 64 kg. So here mass is given 64 kg, runs a race at speed of 12 meter per second. So velocity is 12 meter per second, and when she gets closer to finish line, she slows down to 8 meter per second. So let's say this is velocity 1 and velocity 2 is 8 meter per second. Now, what are her momenta in each case? We have to find the momenta in each case. So, for let's say the first momenta is P1, and formula for that is mv1. So, mass is 64 and v1 velocity is 12. So, we can just multiply them and get the momenta for first case, and P2 is mv2. So, m is 64 and velocity, second velocity is 8, so we can calculate it just by multiplying it. So 64 multiplied by 12 would be 768. So what is the unit? The unit would be kg meter per second, since mass is given in kg and this is meter per second. And 64 multiplied by 8 would be 512 kg meter per second. We can see that in both the case mass is same, but when velocity is greater, momentum is also greater. In this case velocity is less than the first case, so momentum is also less than this. Okay, because we know that momentum depends on velocity. Now next question is, a motor car of mass 1100 kg. So mass is given 1100 kg, is moving along a straight line with uniform velocity of 90 kilometer per hour. So velocity is given 90 kilometer per hour. Now its velocity is slowed down to 18 kilometer per hour. So its velocity get changed, and after slowing down, its velocity became the this was the initial velocity, so we can write it like u, and the final velocity after slowing down become 18 kilometer per hour. Now in 4 seconds, so time is given in 4 seconds, its velocity slows down from 90 kilometer to 18. So this is time. By an external force, calculate the acceleration. We have to calculate the acceleration and the change in momentum. Okay, so first let's calculate the acceleration. We know the acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time, because it is nothing but rate of change of velocity. Now since we can see that it is velocity, that in velocity the unit is kilometer per hour, and here time is given in seconds, so we need to match them up. So now we can convert this velocity unit, that this is like 90, so to convert into in meter per second, we need to multiply it by 5 upon 18, so it will be 25 meter per second. And to convert 18 kilometer per hour to meter per second, we need to multiply it again with 5 by 18, so 18 cancel, so it would be 5 meter per second. Okay, now we have velocities in meter per second and everything, the all the units are matching. So final velocity is 5 meter per second. So let's write at place of v 5 minus initial velocity is 25 meter per second. So 5 minus 25. Now time is 4 seconds. The time is 4 seconds. So let's write 4. So it would be 25 minus 5 minus 20 upon 4, that is 5 meter per second square. So the minus sign shows that velocity is decreasing, acceleration is decreasing. So so acceleration is 5 meter per second. Now we have to calculate the momentum as well. So for and the change in momentum. So let's calculate first momentum for each velocity and then subtract, because to find out the change we need to subtract them. So let me erase first. Okay. So okay, so momentum, initial momentum, let's say I name it as P1, would be mu, and final momentum, that is P2, would be mv. Because in case of initial momentum, I am considering initial velocity. In case of final momentum, I am considering final velocity. So mu mass is 1100 times initial velocity was 25 after converting into in meter per second, so um, it would be 27,500 meter per kilogram meter per second, because it's momentum. Now we can similarly calculate the for the second case, the momentum would be uh, the mass is same, and the velocity, the final velocity is 5, we have calculated here, so it would be 5500 kilogram meter per second. So these are the two momentums. If we want to find out the change in momentum, we can subtract p2, like we can calculate p1 minus p2, so and we can get the change in momentum. So this is it. Okay, let's see the next question. So when a bullet is thrown on a person, like he is throwing the bullet by hand, it hardly hurts, right? However, when the same bullet is fired from the gun, it can kill a person, right? Why? Because in the first case, it is having very less velocity. When he is throwing the bullet using his hand, so it has very less velocity, and when the same bullet is fired from gun, it might kill a person because of the greater velocity of the bullet. So the bullet with an increased velocity uh, means it has greater momentum and uh, can show a much greater impact as compared to the bullet with smaller. So yeah. So in the first case, velocity is less means momentum is less. In the second case, velocity is greater, so momentum is greater as compared to the first case. So we can see how much impact a greater momentum can make. Similarly, in this case, the cycle, the truck and the car are moving with the same speed. So all of them are having same speed, that is 5 meter per second. But the car mass is 10 times that of cycle. So in this case, the mass of and the mass of cycle is 10 kg. So mass of cycle, that is I am writing Cy, is 10 kg, and the mass of truck is 3 times that of car. Okay. So since it is given that mass of car, that is MC, is mass of car, is 10 times of mass of cycle. So I 10 times of it means I will multiply it with 10. So that means mass of car is 100 kg. Now it is given that mass of truck is 3 times the mass of car. So I will multiply with 3 the mass of car. Uh, okay, so it would be 300 kg. The mass of truck is 300 kg, right? So now, which one do you think is more fatal? Justify your answer. If we'll calculate the momentum in each case. In first case, momentum is mass is 10 and velocity is 5 in every case. So it is 50. In second case, momentum would be 10, 100 multiplied by 5. That is 500. In the third case, momentum would be 300 multiplied by 5, that is 1500 kg meter per second. This is 1500. So we can see the difference in the momentum. For the cycle, momentum is 50. In the second case, for the car, momentum is uh, increased and became 500, and in case of truck it is 1500. So we can clearly see that accident with the truck is the most fatal because momentum of truck is approaching, um, like momentum of truck is the greatest one in all the cases. So this in the above case we have seen that the mass of bullet was same, right? But by changing velocity we can see how much difference it make. But in this case the velocity is same, but changing the mass is making a great change, making an at like making a great difference we can see. Okay, so this is how momentum depends on mass as well as its velocity. Using this example, we can understand it very easily and clearly. Now let's summarize what we have learned so far. So you can do it by yourself by pausing the video. So what is momentum? Momentum is amount of motion contained in a body, and mathematical expression was mass times velocity, and direction of momentum vector is along its velocity vector direction, and unit is kilogram meter per second, and it depends directly, momentum depends directly on velocity and mass as well. The body which is at rest have zero momentum, and momentum of body increase with increasing its mass as well as velocity. So this is clear, we know this. So thank you.